Worcester Bosch boiler replacement. My name's Alan Hart, and in today's video I've got a trainee with me from Viva Training Academy, and we're going to remove this Worcester Bosch boiler. If we have a look at this here, we can see that it's not been installed very well. Also, there's a bit of an issue with the flue. The boiler's also leaking, so hence the reason the customers decided to remove and change the boiler. This video is for gas safe, registered and trainee gas engineers under supervision. Please comply with the current regulations at the time. So it's got a leaking, the Worcester Bosch boiler here is leaking, which is a very quick and easy fix, but it's also got some other issues. And one of the issues is the flue, which I'll show you that in more detail. And then if we have a look at the condensate's just been left like an overflow, and the blow off as well for the PRV has been left like that as well. It's had external cladding fitted on here, but instead of changing the flue, making it a longer flue, they've put a piece of sail pipe in to extend it, and clearly that's not going to work correctly as per the installation instructions. Just got Paul here from Viva Training Academy. He's going to star in our YouTube video today. Aren't you, Paul?
Yep.
And before removing the case on the boiler, obviously we've done all the electrical checks to make sure that it's safe. I'm going to show you a short video now, and that's why you need to do your electrical checks. But if you could like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Yeah, let's have a look at this electrical video. We have done another video, so please check that out, and that's on TB118, so that's your technical bulletin for safe isolation of gas boilers. So we've got Paul here from Viva Training Academy. He's just training to be a gas engineer. What are you looking for? What are you doing now then, Paul?
I'm about to do what we call a tightness test. I'm just doing a visual inspection of my manometer here, making sure that it is correct to use for the this application. Just double checking I've got enough water in it for starters. Make sure it's on 0, as you can see. Make sure it's actually in full working order. I'm then going to do a visual inspection of the meter area itself.
What we're looking for on this meter?
I'm going to first of all have a quick look at the incoming mains here, make sure that's all okay, make sure the pipe's okay, get as much of a visual on it as I can. Then we'll have a look at the ECV, the emergency control valve for the customer, make sure it falls away to off, make sure the handle's all there and intact. Have a little look at the anaconda, make sure the sticker's there that tells you that the ECV falls away to off. Make sure that's all alright. Have a look at the regulator. Make sure the actual seal is intact and in place. Having a little look at the actual carrier body for the actual meter itself, making sure that's stable, and back to the wall.
Yeah.
Making sure it's got the shear bolts on, so it hasn't been messed with. Then a visual inspection of the actual meter itself, making sure it's got the emergency number and all the information there that you require in case of any issues. And then over to this side, having a quick look at this side, making sure all of this is all in good order, making sure that there is a earth bond within the first 600 millimeters.
Do you know what size that earth bonding needs to be?
10 mil.
Yeah, minimum 10 millimetre.
Yeah. Minimum 10 mil.
Yeah. And what's your procedure with your tightness test?
So the procedure for the tightness test, the 3 parts of the tightness test: you have a let by, temperature stabilisation, and then the tightness test itself.
So what's your procedure then with your tightness test?
So the procedure for the tightness test is for the first let by, I will then put between 7 and 10 millibar pressure in the manometer.
Yeah, so what you're going to do is you're going to just turn the valve on a
Turn
little
the
tiny
valve
bit.
on. Yeah.
And you're going to top
that up to between 7 and 10. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're going to test for let by.
Let by, that's correct.
And then what are you going to test then?
Once I've got through to the 1 minute there, then I'm going to go temperature stabilisation. So I'm going to take it then up again to between 20 and 21 millibar.
Yeah.
For 1 minute. Stabilise the temperature, obviously, because it's coming out and it just needs to, coming into a room. Do that for 1 minute. Once that stabilisation's done, then I will then either just adjust it slightly, make sure it's between 20 and 21 for the final check, which is tightness of 2 minutes.
And what would happen if it failed, the let by test?
I'd be phoning the transporter.
But what would be the next procedure that you could do just to double check that it is actually passing on that on this valve?
I could redo the check.
So what you could do, you see that nut on top there, on top of valve?
This one, yes.
No, just the bottom there. See where your valve is?
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. That one there.
If you undid that nut there,
yeah,
you could spray that valve.
Yeah.
And you could see if it's letting by.
Yeah.
So what are you doing there then, Paul?
Just draining down the boiler, and so we've just put the hose on the outlet there.
The drain off, yeah.
The drain off, yeah.
The really good with these Worcesters is that it's got this drain off and it's big.
And it's built in,
so
and
you can
just twist it and... New baby.
We've still got the jig to remove, and we're going to install this Viessmann Vitodens 050 combi boiler, and this comes with a 10-year parts and labour warranty. The pipework is a little bit untidy, but it's going to be boxed in, so we're not too bothered about that. But we are bothered about it needs to be clipped, and we need to have the correct clearances from the gas pipe to the electrical sockets. And please check your books for that, but as you know, it is 25mm. We've just got as level on top of boiler, just to make sure boiler's level. We've also got the laser level, got as green laser level, just to make sure it's all looks tidy and it's all level. We're just going to gas rate this now. So we're just going to put it into service mode. Click on mode, scroll down to service on there, flashing. Click OK. You'll see it says off. Scroll up to 100%. Click OK. And now we're just going to gas rate it here. We're also going to test the flue with a correctly calibrated flue gas analyzer. So we need to test the boiler on high, test the boiler on low, and also test the flue integrity as well on the air intake to make sure that everything is safe. I'm going to show you another job now, which is a Vaillant Combi Boiler that we've installed. But with this Viessmann, we've fully flushed the system out. If we have a look at the pipework below, we've clipped it all as good as possible. It is quite a tight space, but this is boxed in, so it doesn't matter too much. The most important thing is that you install it correctly, clean the system, have the correct size gas pipe, and obviously all your flue and all your regulations are correct. So now we'll have a look at this Vaillant. There's an Ideal Isar in this at the moment, and the heat exchangers leaking on it. So customers decided to put a new boiler in. If we have a look here, we can see the system is really mucky. We've drained the boiler down, we've tested the gas, We've also done our safe isolation checks to the TB118 technical bulletin. The old boiler had a standoff jig, and we've got a standoff jig for the new boiler as well. We've got Darren here from Viva Training Academy, and he's installing this Vaillant Combi Boiler. So the most important thing of all, always read the installation instructions and make sure that you're installing the boiler correctly. On this Vaillant boiler, it does give the option to have a rear flue. We're not using a rear flue on this one, but you can do a rear flue if needed. This system was very, very mucky, so we've had to fully flush this system. And we're using the Condensate Pro connection kit on this installation, and this has now been approved by Vaillant. And again, always check the installation instructions and check with the manufacturers at the time. We've fully flushed the system now, and we're putting some F1 inhibitor into this system. Other inhibitors are available, so you can use your Sentinel or your AD ones. We've got a water sample, and then now we're going to test it with the AD Pro Check, just so the customer knows that we installed it correctly. And if we have a look on here, inhibitor pass, corrosion pass, pH pass, and then it shows you the recommendations, and it just shows that everything is correct and test complete. And then we've got a big thumbs up there for the installation. So we've just got a couple of installs there with the guys from Viva Training Academy. As you could see there, we installed a Viessmann boiler. That were a Viessmann Vitodens 050 on the first job. The boiler that came out was a Worcester Bosch. It did have a fault on it. The fault could be repaired, but there were other issues as well. The customer just wanted to get rid of it and have a boiler with a long warranty. And most boilers, if you install them well, flush the system, then they will last well. And then on the next job, that was with Darren from Viva Training Academy as well. And that's a Vaillant Ecotech Pro, Pure, I think it was, something like that. That's the first Vaillant I've installed in probably 15 years. If I'm honest, I had to read the instructions well on that one, because I didn't know exactly all the ins and outs about it, so I had to check. And it's really, really important that you read them instructions. Even if you install boilers every day, sometimes them instructions might change. Like, for instance, the condensate pipes. Now we need to lag the pipes on most brands, and again, check the installation instructions because different brands vary. But normally we would need to lag the condensate pipe. We'd also need to use a lagging that so for instance, standard class O lagging is not suitable. That needs to be painted, and then you need to go back and paint it again within 7 days. So obviously for a boiler installation, that's not practical. There's no way that I want to start painting the lagging on a boiler install and then go back and do it again. The Vaillant boiler, very, very nice boiler to install. I was very impressed with it, to be honest. As the rear flue option on that as well. Again, a good option. We didn't do a rear flue, so I didn't see how easy or hard that was to do. That one's got an aluminium heat exchanger. I always try and fit or install boilers with stainless steel heat exchangers when possible. I just feel they're more forgiving. But what I find is, if you flush the system correctly and you treat it correctly, then it should be okay with either boiler, to be honest. With either heat exchanger, there's a lot of people, a lot of the manufacturers, they recommend or they prefer the aluminium heat exchangers. So it's personal choice, I suppose. But this YouTube channel is about all boilers, all brands, all chemicals, all filters, and it's about installing things correctly and raising the standards. And so if you've got a boiler that you like and you like to install, again, get in touch. I'll come out and video it all for free, promote your business if that's what you want, put your website on, etc, etc. Yeah, I think I'm babbling on again now. Thanks for watching.